saying that the government has to look at the welfare as well of the teachers in the private education sector. But how can that be done? Maybe you can talk about some models that you've seen abroad.
Yeah, we have existing subsidy programs here in the country. I think we can expand on them.
Okay.
The education service contracting, teacher salary subsidy under the GASP law, RA 8545. But I think now we need to be more creative and expand these programs, funding programs. In other countries, they have the voucher program is widely accepted, where government funds and the private sector delivers. So under a voucher system, the students can use that voucher and take it to schools, and they are now empowered to choose which schools. So without being indifferent to cost,
right.
Because right now it's a choice between free and not free, right? Where the parents are constrained to make that choice based on that and not really based on quality. With voucher, it addresses that.
The voucher is given directly to the students, right?
Yes.
It's not given to the school.
Right.
But how is the targeting? Have you had chance to look at it? Is it going to the right people who actually are worth the investments, or maybe qualified but cannot afford a private school education?
Right. So I think now, because of limited funding and resources, the matrix is just really based on financial capabilities. But I think moving forward, when we expand the vouchers, there should be more deliberate profiling of students who can avail of the vouchers. Like, for example, not only based on financial capacities of families, but putting them in the right programs and funding their education.
I see.
Right?
Okay. So are you saying that maybe if we have programs like science and mathematics, which we want to promote, that should be supported by more vouchers? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if we want to create more slots or spaces for students to fill in, then you fund that, and very deliberate in which areas, not only in basic education, in college programs also, we can apply that by saying these are the unsubscribed programs.
Right.
If you offer this in private colleges and universities, it will be undersubscribed, no takers, right? But the country needs it, so the government can fund enrollment in that program. Right?
Well, issuing more vouchers is one thing, but the other problem I've heard from some schools is that the amount of the vouchers is not sufficient to match the tuition. And when you talk about science in particular, you have laboratories, you have other things that make the teaching of those subjects more expensive. Has there been discussion, or should there be discussion on increasing the amounts?
There are several studies, existing studies, that already show the cost of sending a student in a school, whether it's basic or college. A lot of studies have been done on this. So I think we should at least be close to that amount, because right now
how far are we?
Well, we're too far from it right now. So it's, for example, a subsidy of 18,000 a year for teachers, or 5,000 a year or per semester for students. That's very far off, right? I think the average cost is around 30,000 a sem for college, and 60,000 a year or even more for basic education. So we have to be close to that amount. This reflects not the tuition rates, but the cost of education, of getting competitive education.
Well, you brought up tuition, and you already mentioned that this is an aspect of the system that seems to be overregulated. The process now, I think, requires so many consultations, but as you said, they can't outprice themselves from the market. Right. And then the related to that, the issue of no permit, no exam, I think, comes in. Of course, the issue here is how does the school fund quality, right? Without charging tuition, or without more of these vouchers. But honestly speaking, sometimes you guys are on the losing end of the image war here, that you are portrayed as profit-hungry institutions. But why is that issue, what is that more accurate portrayal of that issue of the no permit, no exam? Why is that important?
Well, the answer to this is really fundamental. We cannot really just zero in on a single incident or a policy. Of course, the no permit, no exam has been there. Several legislators have proposed a bill on this. Actually, the other day
It comes up just about
right.
every year.
Yeah, and just recently, this graduating student who I saw in the news or on social media, he was not allowed to join the graduation march because they failed to pay tuition. It's really heartbreaking to see these things. But the way to address this is really fundamental. We have to change our mindset in looking at education. We should not look at education as a mere commodity, right? Just buying something or there's an alternative or something that's free. This is actually an investment for the future, future employment, better life, right?
It's an investment and you get what you pay for.
Right. So I think we need to take responsibility. We need to teach our parents and our students to be more accountable for education of their children, so that we don't just ask for government to help us and not be responsible, right? So all of us, not only the school, we should all be helping each other out and making education accessible, not really affordable down to the level of low quality of education, but making that high quality of education accessible to all. That's the mandate of our Constitution.
All right, so quality, of course, is not free. I'd like to pursue this a little bit more, but before we do that, we have to take another break. This is Business and Politics, and we'll be back shortly.